that I appreciate professionalism and people who know what they are doing and who respect each other's crafts. That's basically a little bit of respect, some good ideas, and some serious mindset to get things done when we actually agree to do something.
Yes, ndongeye kandi gusuhuje ndetse mwifuje n'ibihe byiza reka kandi nizere ko n'ubundi witeka Imana akomeje kurinda again Shambo Show kore subscribe like ndetse na share kugira ngo ibintu byose birushaho kugenda neza. Like right now on my camera mukuhabona the white man araza kugenda twibwira ni kwa kundi dukora kano kazi kandi tukakora tugakunze tukanagatangira ku gihe kore subscribe like ndetse na share kugira ngo ibintu byose bishobore kugenda bigenda neza ugiye gushyira comment kano tugakora kandi tugakora neza. Yes, I was saying I was just introducing to my people, you know, most of them they are not understanding I mean English, so that's why I tried to introduce this conversation with the Rwanda, so I hope you don't mind.
That's all good. That's all good. I mean, we are in Rwanda here, so people need to know what we are talking about. So Rwanda obviously is the home language. So yeah, of course, go ahead.
Okay, let's go. Introduce to the people who is following Shambo Show.
Yeah, good morning everyone. My name is, I go by the name of CHINCHILLA. I'm a reggae musician. Born in Germany but based in Rwanda now and loving it so far. So yeah. I'm about to release a new song coming this Friday, and that's what we are here to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Okay, for let them feel free for this conversation, you can greet them in Kinyarwanda, first your brain.
Yeah, my Kinyarwanda is still very much on the basics, but Mwaramutse, that I know. Amakuru, I hope you are doing okay. Me, I'm doing very fine today, this beautiful morning. Yeah. And bright day ahead.
Okay, let's talk about music first. So we go further after. So you do your music. People are confusing. You're in Rwanda. You're going to release your song, and I think you recorded here in Rwanda, and you made the video here in Rwanda. So for how long have you been doing music here in Rwanda?
Here in Rwanda, the first time I came here was about a year ago, late last year, like in 2019, where I did my first song and recording here and the first video. And now this song that I'm going to release is called Check Your Privilege. The recording was actually done in Germany. Okay. It's basically, I mean, it's a very up-to-date topic. It's basically, I'm speaking from a European perspective, from a privileged background. It doesn't even matter if I grew up very rich or whatever. I still have certain privileges that other people don't have, you know, like it already starts in the streets. I know I can get away with more things than a local person. I can cross the road, you know, do certain wrong things that are okay, and the police will let me go away with it, you know. That's where it starts. It starts with how you are treated at the shop, how you are, you know, that's basically, of course it's talking a lot or referring to the whole global discussions of racism, of police brutality, of injustices, all of these things, but now taking it from my perspective, contributing to the discussion, where I'm trying to reflect on my own privileges, which I think is a very important thing for people to do, you know. So yeah, that's what the song is about, and it's a very, for me, it's a very personal and very emotional song for me. It took me quite a long time to refine the lyrics, to really say this is how I want to express myself. So yeah, that's what it's about basically.
Yes, you've been in Rwanda, you've been in Africa. I mean, it's I think it's 7 years now, right? Yeah. So what countries you traveled for, and why you're traveling to Africa?
I mean, the first time I visited the continent, I would say at large, was when I was 16 years young. I went on a school program in South Africa, and I was living in a township there in Soweto, in Johannesburg. And that already, I don't know, it grew me so much. You know, I was the first time without family, without friends, or having to find new friends. And it was just such a big cut in my life. And it really influenced how I live, how I think, and whatever. And I don't know, I'm also an engineer and specialized in water and sanitation engineering and renewable energies and sustainable things, because I feel like I want to use that to do something purposeful. And I just saw that there's maybe potentials and needs here where I can actually contribute to the well-being of, you know, a society. Not that I'm saying I can change everything myself, but I would just like to contribute to a positive cause. That's basically that. And I moved away from Germany in 2014. So this is now coming to my 6th, 7th year. First I moved to Zambia permanently, but I was working a lot in Tanzania. Lately I've been working a lot in Uganda, in Ethiopia, in Kenya, working on projects in Zimbabwe. By now I've been to many, many places in Eastern and Southern Africa. I also did a song in the Sudanese Revolution last year with an amazing group of Sudanese musicians, also Zambian musicians who joined in, which I think was a beautiful project. And that's also what I love about, I guess, the way I do things. Right now I'm at a position where I say, okay, this is actually how I envisioned how I want to do things, that I can do, you know, some technical project work and even include that into my music, and also even in my music address crucial topics, at least that I think are crucial to myself and the people around me.
It's okay that you have traveled in those almost 70 countries. What makes Rwanda a different country according to those countries that you have been traveled for?
I think it was a very, first of all, I would like to really emphasize that it was a very conscious decision for me to move to Rwanda. To say, I want to live in a place where I see potential, where I see good people around, where I see a place that I can probably call my home for the next, I don't know how many years. And having seen quite a number of places, I know I would like to put things into perspective. I don't think that there's the one perfect place on earth. I think you will always have good sides, you will always have bad sides. But for me, for what I was looking for in terms of stability, a place where I can settle, where I can have a family, where I don't have to worry about, you know, what's happening when I leave my house for 2 weeks, what's happening because there's like violent riots or I don't know, or whatever prices. I think those sound like small factors, but they really contribute to how home and easily you feel like you have arrived somewhere. And I think that was big factors. But I think also the whole digitalization in the country with a lot of innovative ideas coming up gives a lot of potential on many levels. And I think in that also the government is doing quite a good job. Also in terms of crime rates are low, the country is clean, the country is beautiful. There's lots of things to do. There's a lot of arts and culture as well. There's so many arts centers. You know, I've only visited a few. Now I'm back here since the airports reopened because of Corona. Since August, I'm back in the country. And I'm really enjoying every minute of it. And I feel like it's giving me so much inspiration to think of new ideas and get the support and have the, you know, you can, it starts with, it's very easy to register a company. It's very straightforward. You know, all those things, they contribute to it. And I think there's also a beautiful scene of musicians and artists with a lot of potentials to grow, you know.
Let people hear your voice while you're singing. Let people know what you get.
Okay, let me do this. No justice, no peace, hey crime. in our societies is a rampant disease. Better check your privilege before you judge and proceed. Before you talk no further, better check your privilege. It's a sad reality in cities, towns and villages. Atrocity so hideous. Again, it's history repeating itself. So that's a part of my new single, Check Your Privilege. Ra.
I like the way you enjoy music. So maybe you're doing music because you love it, not because you need some much money from the music. You know, what do you think about the people who is doing music because they want to get more money?
I'm not here to judge, you know. At the end, I know people also have to pay their bills, have to make a living somehow. It's not, I mean, you're right. I do music because I want to express myself, because I want to feel what I'm saying, because I want people rather to feel than just doing it. I'm not doing music for the hype. But obviously, it's a good feeling when you see that your music is accepted and stuff. But I want to abstain from things like this one is not good music because he's doing A, B, or C. You know, I'm not a big fan of just commercial music where you hear it's produced to be financially successful. But I'm also then trying to be a bit more, how can I say, distanced about it and objective, and just say like, okay, let them do their thing, I do my thing. I focus on what I feel is right, other people do what they feel is right, you know. But generally, I'm definitely doing music for the hearts, not music for the charts, you know me, I say.
All right. So let's say today you stay in Rwanda. I'm assuming, I'm not sure that you're going to stay, but we never know. Are you going to continue doing music no matter what?
Again, it's really, I've had some lows in between. I would say between 2014 to 2017, somewhere there, I had probably 3 years where I tried, but nothing nothing that I felt confident with came out of my head. Like, I tried to write songs, I didn't like it. I was in this phase, I think, from doing only music for myself and basically saying this is how I want it to be, to growing and maturing in a way, okay, this is now actually an art that I embody, you know. And again, I'm not doing that necessarily for people to say or to sell the most copies, but obviously it's a good appreciation when people feel what you're doing. And I think whenever you're an artist, whatever you do, be it music, be it in film, be it in visual arts, you need to get that sort of energy back from people, from the spectators, from the fans, from the customers, whatever. I definitely feel like it's always been the best vent for me. Like, if I actually write the best songs when I'm not in the best mood. You know, I write very thoughtful music, I think. And for me, I always feel that I write much more lyrics when I'm in a thoughtful phase. When I have a lot of different thoughts to process in my head, that's when I write the best songs. So I think in that, I will definitely continue. But it also depends on the motivation. I feel like I can't force it right now. I'm in a phase which I really enjoy.
What if the mood doesn't come? I mean,
I'm not waiting for it to come. Maybe there's also good moods. And that can work. It's also not that I'm saying it only works at that time. But sometimes everything happens for a reason, and everything happens at its right time. And some good things, most good things, take time to grow. And good things come to those who wait, but better things to those who go for it. You know, sometimes you have to pave the right way, and you can make a step, you know, in the right direction. And in that, I don't see myself retiring from doing music anytime soon.
And, how many performances have you had, like live performances?
Joe, that's a very good question. 50 to 100 maybe, somewhere there. Like, it's not that I'm playing like the big concerts where I'm selling out venues or something, but I performed in many jam sessions. I love it to just jam with musicians. I performed regularly in Soweto in South Africa. I performed in Sudan, in Kampala. Here I've actually never performed live. In Zambia, quite a number. Yeah, here also because of the current situation, I've joined some whatever karaoke sessions, you know, but just like fun thing. But concerts, Yeah, actually coming closer to 100 than to a 50, to be honest. Because I'm doing music for like 16 years.
You're doing reggae music, but I've seen you perform rap.
Again, I don't want to put myself into a box, but reggae is definitely my stronghold. And I think even when I rap, it comes through with a bit of a reggae vibe to it. So I started writing hip-hop. That's how I started, with like hip-hop beats, hip-hop lyrics, those things. Transformed over time more and more to reggae, but even there I like to try different styles. Okay. Be it roots reggae, be it dancehall, be it a bit of dub, be it a bit of, you know, whatever. I know this new song coming out is really much more of a hip-hop song. Even the instrumental is more of a trap beat. But it also has some reggae sounds in it, you know, and I really felt it when I found that instrumental. I really felt it, and I thought, like, let me write on it, and I feel like maybe I should try it again. So, to be honest, I would identify as a musician in the first place, and after that say, okay, these are the genres that I feel most comfortable with. But I wouldn't say I only do reggae and that's everything I do. I would also like to partner and do some collabos with whatever Afrobeats artists, work with R&B singers, even whatever more like the danceable, the soca, the zouk, whatever things, you know. Yeah. So I'm there in that I'm open.
So, do you know any Rwandan artists? Like, have you ever hanging up with a Rwandan artist?
Actually, quite a number of them. I mean, the first song that I did here was with a collaboration with Aline Sano, Millie and Roy G, and I really loved working with those guys. And Panda, Aline's brother, produced the song. We are still working together. I work a lot with Bob Chris, my lion, who did both of my videos here. And yeah, I met quite a number of other artists and still getting to know more, and actually also trying to build a network of local artists, but then also beyond that, you know, connecting Rwandan artists to a bigger East African audience.
So you know any Rwandan song?
I definitely know, okay, there's not many songs where I know the lyrics of, but I definitely do know quite some Rwandan songs, yes. I do like, I mean, I follow the artists that I work with, I also follow them. I definitely loved Aline's latest performances. I also love the music of Linda Montes. That song, actually, when I heard it for the first time, the Tufu Tufu thing, that rang in my head for quite some time. And she has a really unique voice.
You have some little words to sing in Rwanda?
Some little words to say.
To sing.
Singing in Kinyarwanda. Let's do another interview in 6 months, and you can hold me to that, and I'll be able to sing a bit in Kinyarwanda, okay? I'm trying, but you know, I feel like when I was younger, it was much easier to learn a new language.
Let's enter in social life. So, not few months. It's been like almost 6 months. We heard about suicide in Rwanda. You know, young generation, they used to climb like such a big house and fall down. What do you think about suicide? Sure. We're going to compare two countries, Rwanda and your country, Germany. Here in Rwanda, not too much suicide, but probably we have like 2 or 3 people in the city committed suicide. We had them on radio. We have seen them on social media. Can you please compare the suicide action of two countries, Rwanda and Germany?
Wow, now that's a really tough question, because I'm really not a health expert, and I find it very difficult to, you know, speak, especially now publicly, out on things where I know I'm not an expert on. And everything I can say is assumptions from my experiences or my own subjective impressions, you know. I do think that it's very much necessary that we talk about mental health, that we talk about insecurities, that we talk about weaknesses that we feel. I think it's a very important thing that we allow those. I know there's also long overdue discussions about those whole things of male insecurities and toxic masculinity, where people like to say that men have to be strong, you mustn't cry because you're a man, you know. I don't think that those things make sense. We are also human beings. We have emotions, and it's totally okay to cry. That's definitely what I think. And there's moments sometimes I don't have a problem to admit that I do cry, and sometimes it makes me feel better. Afterwards, you feel stronger. You feel like, you know, you've gone through something, and that's something where we still have to build this collective understanding that there's physical pain. You can break your arm, but you can also have serious pain when you break your heart, when you lost your family member, when you lost your job. You know, this whole thing of desperation, I completely get it. You know, especially now in these tough times of lockdowns and economic burdens and stuff like that, I definitely understand it. And I hope that people get the support that they need, be it from friends and family members. But I think it's also important that a country invests in professional infrastructure, to have psychologists and to also have a mindset that it's an actual condition. It's not something that someone comes up with and makes up a story, you know?
The question actually driving me to another question. Does the writing control the anger or the inner emotion?
I definitely think so. I definitely think so because, like, for myself, as I already said, it's helping me a lot to cope with certain emotions or thoughts in my head. I know also many other people, friends who are artists, who say this whole arts thing, it's not necessarily only creative writing, it can also be dancing, it can be acting, it can be on so many different levels, it can be theater. I know a lot of people who are saying these are the things that actually keep me going, that keep me, you know, like, also that's why I love to hang out with artists. Artists are oftentimes, no matter where you go, artists are usually not the richest type of crowd. But they are always the most inspiring, they are the ones who are paving the way for change in the society. And I think in that it's a very good, I mean, also when you look at the origins of hip-hop music, of reggae music, it's rebel music. Got you. And you know, the way also the whole thing of like battle rap and breakdance and graffiti came about was trying to find artistic ways to deal with the daily struggles, you know? So yeah, I definitely think arts is the best medicine for everything. It's even the best way to teach people in an artistic way. You can only reach people's hearts when you capture them, you know, when you inspire them. I think that's much better than just standing in a classroom and writing things on a board.
Maybe people say when you definitely have no one to tell your story and you decide to write your story on the paper, that means you're talking to your paper. And I think this should also reduce the inner anger because as you say, we're all human and we have emotion. So do you like animals?
Come again? What?
Do you like animals?
If I like animals?
Yeah.
Yes, a lot. And I do think that, I mean, I have a dog at home, and I find it quite amazing how you see so much. I mean, at the end, we as humans, we always try to pretend as if we are so advanced and so much more developed than any other species. But at the end, you see so many similar emotions. Like a dog, when a dog is sad or angry, it shows you very similar expressions to how humans express their emotions, right? Like, I mean, a dog is not laughing like a human being. It's not whatever, but you can also see it's jumping around when it's happy. The same way we get, you know, you can compare that to when we are dancing in a club to music, you know? When a dog gets angry, it's more like protective. That's the same way what we do when we protect ourselves, you know? Something like that. So I see a lot of similarities, and I think also animals in to a large degree are more like pure and clean, like children basically. They don't pretend, they don't lie, they just show you what's up and what they feel. So yeah.
So Rwanda is a country of 100 animals and 1,000 animals, the country of 1,000 hills. Let's hope that you enjoy the country. So let's back on music. Have you ever think about collaboration, like featuring with any other artist in Rwanda?
Most definitely. That's actually what I love the most. Like most of the songs, when you check my channels and my releases, you can actually check it out. Chinchilla on all your favorite channels. On YouTube, is also there on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, at least that I know is available in Rwanda. Most of my songs are collaborations. The new song that I'm releasing is a singer, is not a collaboration. Also because at the end, I even tried and thought of working with other artists on that. But I also felt like it's such a personal story that I wanted to express, where I thought, okay, let me just do it myself. But other than that, as I mentioned earlier, the first video I did here was a collaboration with 3 Rwandan artists. The song I did in Sudan had a total of 11 musicians on it. So most of my songs are feature songs, but I'm also planning to work on an album next year, for which I would probably have more solo songs, but I definitely still want to work on collaboration projects. That's one thing for sure. That's what I really enjoy.
Let's assume that some artists are viewing this video of interview. So what if someone is having an idea or a desire of doing collaboration with you? What are the requirements?
Hit me up if you have a good idea. Let me know. You know, one thing I also realized, I mentioned earlier that I was in this sort of hole or dark place. I don't want to, you know, overrate it, but this time where I didn't have too much inspiration and motivation. And ever since I restarted doing music, I basically worked with very professional people. That's one thing that I appreciate, professionalism and people who know what they are doing and who respect each other's crafts. That's basically a little bit of respect, some good ideas, and some serious mindset to get things done when we actually agree to do something. I think that's the most important part for me, and obviously that we vibe, you know. When I feel like when we are sitting together and we can't really agree on what to write on, and we have different, very contrary opinions on certain topics, but even that could be a good idea, you know. Even that could be an idea for collaboration. Let's say we talk about whatever it is, and you argue from this point of view, I argue from the other point of view. Could also be an interesting project. So I'm open. I'm on Instagram, Chinchilla Music. Follow me and send me a message.
Do you know anything about poetry?
That's how I started, and at the end, lyrics are poetry. I started writing my first, now let me take you way back in the days. When I was 16 and I was in South Africa, I had a crush on this girl from my neighborhood. And she said to me, hey, I want you to write me a poem. And you know how boys are in that age. Obviously, I just tried. And I don't even know, I don't know if I still have it. Yo, I'm sorry to say, I probably don't even remember the name of the girl. And I don't know if that poem had a name, but I actually, that was also maybe interesting side story. Let me give you a side story in that. I have a friend in Sudan who I was talking to while they went through really tough times. You know, when al-Bashir was ousted last year and there was this state of emergency, people couldn't leave the house. Like, you basically had to be in fear for your life, and there was military, paramilitary, everything in the streets. And I was talking to friends there who were going crazy by just sitting at home and doing nothing, you know, but like a bit of like the corona lockdown, but then even worse because there was, you know, the country on a brink of, you know, really violent riots, or there were really violent riots and stuff, and really crazy brutality from military side and stuff. And I said to her, you know, when I have a lot of things to cope with, I do best when I just write some stuff, some lines. And I asked her to just write a poem, not to make it public, just share it with me, maybe just 4 lines, 6 lines, 8 lines, and I did the same. And actually, I ended up using some of those lines in one of my songs afterwards, but I changed it a little bit, and that I actually got inspiration from a poetry album by Tupac. I don't know if you know that Tupac released a poetry album. It's called The Rose That Grew From Concrete, and that's also how I named that poem. And that's also one thing that I then said in one of the lines. Let me try and remember it. I was going something like, whatever you do, like, they always come to say you can't do this or that, but they don't understand a very simple fact. It always takes someone to go. Now I'm not remembering the lines correctly, but it was something around like, you know, no matter how hard the resistance is, no matter what people tell you to do and what they expect from you, do it your way. You don't have to prove anything to anyone besides yourself. This is your life, you know. Who are you living your life for? So yeah, you will always find people to tell you you can't do that, but then those same people are just thinking in their precasted boxes. Once we break free, you live much happier and much, more creative life.
Don't go down because people are describing you on the way they want. Maybe listen to what that's what the poem was talking about. You know, most of the people, more especially youth, are going down because of different rumors. You know, so can you please tell people your social media, Instagram if you're using it, it's Facebook, so that everybody who wants to hang out with you may gather way.
Yeah. So yeah, my name is Chinchilla, but I write it in 2 words.